have a plan to get rid of Donald Trump before the midterms. And the two stories that happened this week, these past 2 days, yesterday and today, the Supreme Court allowed Donald Trump to deport 600,000 Venezuelans who are here on temporary protective status. And the ICE raid yesterday of an apartment building in Chicago that was inhabited mainly by Black families. How these two incidences affecting two different communities, sometimes that are odds with each other, can be a linchpin where we get together and we, in solidarity, get rid of Donald Trump before 2026. So you want to hear what I have to say and my plan, which could work, maybe, but hear me out. So let's get started. So as the Supreme Court's been doing terribly for these past few months, is letting whatever unlawful thing that the Trump administration is doing, violating the law, destroying lives, causing people to be deported, lose their jobs, defunded unlawfully. They know it, but for some reason they're stopping the courts that are temporarily pausing the ill effects of Donald Trump's unlawful elections, so people get to stay in the country, so they get to keep their fundings, they can keep their jobs while the case continues. So the Supreme Court's been coming in and say, no, let them fire them, let them lose their jobs, let them get out of the country, let whatever harm that the Trump administration is inflicting on them unlawfully happen while the case continues. Why they're doing this, I have no clue. It's bizarre to me. Do they have an end game? I don't know. So that's what happened. They did it for the second time. Judge Ed Chen stopped the Trump administration, said the reason why you blocked the TPS status is just racial animus, is racial reasons. And you didn't follow the rules. You need to give them 60 days notice. It has to be for cause. There's no real cause here. That's what the law says. Around the same time, yesterday as well, this week, the Department of Homeland Security descended with helicopters on a predominantly Black apartment complex full of mainly Black American United States citizens, tied their children with zip ties, separated the families, violated the Fourth Amendment's right against unlawful search and seizure, which only lets you go into someone's apartment without consent if you have a judge signed with a name and the specific address, or if it's imminent. Like, for example, they're chasing somebody really quick in the middle of it. There's no imminent reason for them to go in those people's apartments. And usually a court order is not for an entire building. It's usually for a specific apartment. And even if it was, you're looking for somebody, you cannot just take people out of their homes and ransack their houses. The founders of this country would be rolling in their graves, because this is exactly the type of tyranny that the king, whoever, were doing to the colonies, the 13 colony residents. And that's why they created Fourth Amendment. And so, yeah. Now, I would say that there were some people from foundational Black people who might have been the type of people who would be subject to what happened in the apartment building were actually happy up until this point, maybe. And I know it because they're in my comments and they feel some kind of way about the Latino Hispanic community in the United States. And I'll explain what's going on with them because of my own interaction with them. Now, with the TPS status being blocked and the Trump administration also coming for the TPS status of Cuban Americans who traditionally vote Republican, is the wake-up call, or should be the wake-up call, to Latinos American, including Latinos for Trump. That we already seen the reports that say that their support of Trump is going down. The support amongst young people is going down. The support amongst low income is going down. And that's what I said in January, first week. I said Donald Trump is going to erode his base in a rapid time compared to last time. It took 4 years to have a lot of people disillusioned, and some of them went back. But this time he does not care. He's a second term. Project 2025 is taking over. They're just going crazy. They're just extinction bursts, trying their best because they feel like it's their last bit of effort attempt to maintain white supremacy and save whiteness, save America for white people. And this is their last ditch effort. And that's why they're crashing out. They're just manic. Everything they're doing is manic reaction. So while they're having this manic reaction, it's a good idea for everyone to realize that you are on this side. We're on the same side. So to the extent that you ever were a Latino for Trump and Republican, you know the white supremacy does not have room for you, does not recognize you. Same thing for my Asian brothers and sisters who sometimes, because they're considered the model minority, keep their head down, don't cause trouble, succeed and excel. They recently also were used by people who want to get rid of what they think is like benefits affirmative action for blacks, and use the Asian Americans to use them as tools to take away rights and opportunities that they think that black people don't deserve and are getting in admissions. But oftentimes when they got rid of affirmative action, the studies show it did not matter, because the numbers still were going down for Asian Americans. So you guys they were just used as a tool, and they didn't want you either. So they used you to get rid of us. It's like two birds with one stone, and that's why it's dangerous. And also, a lot of my Asian brothers and sisters recognized during the COVID era the Stop Asian movement was because you're a model minority. But when time comes, they're throwing you under the bus as well. So again, everyone aligned. So when Trayvon Martin, when George Floyd movement, when we're calling for solidarity, and some of our brothers and sisters of color from other groups were looking the other way and fine with their white solidarity model, honorary white status, they're learning through the Stop Asian movement, Stop Hate Asian movement, Stop Asian hate movement, to what's going on now is that we're on the same side. Stop and frisk, tackling Latino and Hispanic people in LA, all of them, this is what happened in Chicago, all of that is Fourth Amendment rights violations. We're all on the same side. So with this moment being an opportunity for us to, again, realize we're all on the same side, maybe now we can put aside those differences and decide. My Operation 2/3 is my one-woman campaign to get us all to vote. You have an opportunity to pick how you're going to help us unseat like 20 Republicans. We may not need to necessarily do that in 2026. We may not need to wait that long, or 67 or so House of Representative members, because they see this and they have the power to stop this administration today. Because with a majority, which we're going to get soon, the Democrats going to get a majority soon. A few of these special elections pan out, we'll be able to get the House, wrestle the speakership from Mike Johnson, and impeach Donald Trump again for the fourth time, I think. But we can't remove him without the Senate. We need at least 20 seats, a 2/3 majority. That's Operation 2/3 of liberals, of independents and Democrats in Congress will not only allow us to remove Donald Trump, perhaps potentially even get rid of the rest of his cabinet, call them to task for perjuring themselves. And some of them might resign, some of them might get pushed out, start the healing process. We can get common sense gun control, we can get immigration reform, we can get the DACA folks to have a pathway to citizenship. There's a lot of things you can do with a veto-proof majority in Congress. But how do we do that? And how do we do that sooner than later? That's the key. How we do it sooner, it starts with the lower local power. And there was a hot mic moment when Mike Johnson was happy because it was a race where the Republicans won. One thing Mike Johnson said during that hot mic moment was that the voter turnout was just 18%. He was happy. That was your sign, everyone, that the minute the Republicans, our goal is to get 50% turnout in every single election and unseat the Republicans. Every single election, the goal is not just to seat them. The goal is to get 50% turnout. Because what happens when you get 50% turnout? When you get 50% turnout, they know that's enough to remove all of them from power. So if they're ready to give up their seats in the House of Congress, that's what they're seeing. Once they see 50%, that's a sign we have enough people. Once you activate those people to vote in local elections, they get 50%. They're activated for the midterms. They're activated for the 4 elections. They're activated for life. Those people. So what happens when they see the writing on the wall? They get scared of us more because there are more of us. MAGAs represent 22% of the population of the United States, 32% of the electorate. Why 32%? Because they vote a lot more. Now, we do know if Donald Trump has eroded his base. He eroded his base, like I said, amongst the low income because his policies are screwing them, amongst the youth because they were like, what the hell? You're for war, you're anti-First Amendment, you're doing all these things we didn't know. He's eroding amongst Latino and Hispanic people, obviously. He's He's eroding them amongst the farmers. He's eroding amongst the Christians with the Charlie Kirk things. So he's eroding his base. So as he's eroding his base, some of them are coming over. Some say we can't vote for Democrat, but sit out. So if you're not going to sit out, you're not going to vote for Democrats, sit out. And so with that, all of that, we have the opportunity to remove them. Once they realize that there's more of us and they're losing their jobs, maybe they will get some security and they will say, you know what? We're going to remove him. We're going to get some security to protect us because Lisa Murkowski says they're dangerous, the MAGA people. And we're more scared of losing our seat because we know the power of the people supersedes the power of MAGA. The MAGA era is done. And just remove Donald Trump. And remove him like sooner than the 2026. But it happens when these local elections that are coming up, November and going off, every single local election from school board to judgeships to mayoral races, all those races, the aim is to get 50% turnout. The goal, because once you get that, they know it's over for them and they're going to be scared. That shows they've activated people who realize the impact of not voting. The United States has one of the lower voter turnout rates, something like 60-something%, which is crazy. Average, where countries where people don't have a safety net, where people know that I have to vote because potentially my life will be better if I vote for this person, they can change my life. Americans, rich and poor, have a safety net and in social services and social program benefits. So you're either rich so you don't care, or you have benefits so you can afford to just work hard and feel like I'll be okay anyway. Now you realize that's not necessarily the case. So they're coming for you. And what you've seen, the scariness of what he's been doing has shown everyone. So what's going to be your role? Here's your options. You can be a connector. When you bring one person to the voter booth, you don't just get them to register, you actually take them to vote. Someone who's never voted before. A community, a family that you know don't vote. That's your first thing, the connector. The second role, you could be the messenger. So you are going to have persuasive conversations with people in your community who think that both sides are the same, who think that who are still not, they're still in the MAGA cult. So you're going to be the messenger. The next one is a protector. You're watching the courts, legal aid donations. You are getting my Know Your Rights cards. You're distributing my Know Your Rights card that I sell for $1. Get them at jtlegal.com, or you can get them below if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can get them below if you're watching this on TikTok. And you get my court watcher case, which my legal case trackers, which I sell for $8, and you keep track of the cases, and you get activated, and you join and donate to the nonprofit organizations that are filing the lawsuits against the Trump administration. And so you answer the calls to action, and you write in, and you protest, and you do all the things. You can also be the storyteller, where you're collecting testimonies and you're sharing the stories on social media so other people know what's going on. So you're going to ask your officials for transparency. You're going to monitor city resolutions on due process. You're going to monitor and give and donate to community legal aid clinics. And there's a lot of things you can do to make up for inactivity or passivity or being apolitical before. So those 2 weeks events felt like a hammer. But it's going to forge coalitions and link arm in arm with other communities. And the other community that I missed out on this, that I didn't say, I said the Asian community, the Hispanic, the Black community, the immigrant community, not just Latino, Hispanic community, within our solidarity. We also linked on with our white allies. Something someone said to me, or I saw written in a post, that person said he is an ally. And it's one thing to understand the concept of inequality, inequity, unfairness, and fight on his behalf, fight it, and be an ally. It's another thing to feel it. The one thing I said when I first started doing this is that Donald Trump's going to attack not just the marginalized communities. He's going to attack anyone who's Republican, anyone who's Democrat or blue. And so now you're feeling it. So now you're feeling it. We all are solidarity and one. So subscribe to my channel, share this video, download my Know Your Rights cards, get my case tracker, join my weekly live-ins, join my communities. Sign up for my newsletter, so in case I'm gone because of the social media platforms suppress my content, you'll get my weekly check-ins on Donald Trump's legal L's. So what's your action? What are you going to do? What's your next step? Comment below. Each one, teach one is my motto. Get my merch. You want to support me. Templates I sell here. But the best thing to do is just share this video, follow this account, join my newsletter, and yeah, Get the word out. We can do this. Operation Two-Thirds. We can get rid of Donald Trump before 2026. I have faith in us. What do you think? Let's discuss.